Let's go. We got to be special. We got to smoke break. We got to finish strong. Let's go from the top one. Win, 3, 4, win, 5, 6, win, 7, 8, win, 9, 10, win again, win again, win again, win again, win again.
The road to the Super Bowl in the NFC will go through New Orleans with a Saints victory today. It's week 16 of the National Football League from the Louisiana Superdome. It's the Saints and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Good afternoon, everybody. We welcome you to the NFL on Fox. Kenny Albert along with Moose and Goose, Daryl Johnston, and Tony Siragusa. The Saints' quest for a perfect season came to an end last weekend when they lost to the Dallas Cowboys. But with a victory today, New Orleans will clinch the top seed in the NFC.
Well, there's been an issue out there for the New Orleans Saints over the last month. They've gotten off to slow starts. They've been able to overcome that against Atlanta and against Washington, but it caught up to them against the playoff caliber Dallas Cowboys last week. They've got to get some confidence about these slow starts. You heard Drew Brees challenge his teammates at the top. Start fast and finish strong. They've got an opportunity to fix that this afternoon. For the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, this has been a season of change. Both coordinators changed during the course of the year. They've turned over the reins to their first-round franchise quarterback, Josh Freeman, and finally, in Game 14, everything started to come together. They played their best complete game last week out in Seattle. Can they follow that up with another good performance this afternoon against a very good Saints team?
You heard from Moose. Next up is Goose if he gets himself unwrapped right after this from the Verizon Football Zone.
The New Orleans Saints team is led by Drew Brees and their high-powered offense. Today they need to reestablish themselves as a dominant unit against a revamped Tampa Bay defense. The Saints control their own destiny with a win today and will clinch home field advantage throughout the playoffs. The loss to the Dallas Cowboys last week ruined the perfect season, but the ultimate goal of being Super Bowl champions is still in their reach.
Thanks, Goose. Daryl, it's time for the UPS opportunities of the game.
Well, for the New Orleans Saints, it's all about making this young quarterback beat you. Force Josh Freeman to do all the work today. They're going to try and lean on that running game. Shut the run down. Force the rookie quarterback to beat you. And for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it's back to Buck ball. The last time they played, they were playing a different defense. Since that time, they've made steady progress, played their best game defensively last week against the Seahawks, generating 5 turnovers.
It's the Saints and the Buccaneers from New Orleans. The opening kickoff is next on Fox.
Fox Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Back in New Orleans, the Saints with a record of 13-1 with a win today or a loss by the Vikings tomorrow. The Saints clinch home field throughout the NFC playoffs.
And Sean Payton a little bit disappointed with his team's performance last weekend in a big game, but he shouldered some of the burden. You heard the comments that Sean made, could have coached better. Drew Brees felt that the team could have played better. And Raheem Morris, boy, it has just been a season of change across the board. Him getting the job back in the offseason and then through the course of the year, changing both coordinators and handing the reins over to your franchise quarterback. The inactives really on the Saints side today. And look down there at the bottom. Jabari Greer and Randall Gay. Now, those two cornerbacks, one of your starters, the second one is the third guy, and Randall Gay is going to be your nickel corner. That is going to impact what Greg Williams and this defense would like to do. We've seen it a number of times this season when that back end, your secondary cornerbacks and safeties are hit by injuries. That front cannot be as aggressive.
That's Michael Spurlock. He was re-signed by the Buccaneers this week to replace the injured Sammy Stroughter. Spurlock was the first Buccaneer to return a kickoff for a touchdown back in 2007. Thomas Morstead gets things started. We are underway from the Louisiana Superdome. From the 3-yard line, Spurlock. Spurlock out to the 34. Pearson Prelo made the tackle. The rookie out of Kansas State. Josh Freeman making his 8th NFL start.
And it's really going to come down to Cadillac Williams, Ernest Graham, Derek Ward. They need to get that running game going, and it's going to be important for these big guys up front. This is how this offensive line is built. Those guys are nasty. They like to get after the defensive front. If they can get some positive results in the run game, it's really going to help Josh Freeman out.
First and 10 from the 34-yard line for Tampa Bay as Cadillac Williams gains 4 out to the 38. A look at the Saints' 22nd ranked defensive unit.
Well, we talked about the key inactives, but they did get Cedric Ellis back up front. Jonathan Casillas, a lot of praise from Greg Williams about the potential of that young man jumping in the lineup for Scott Shanley today. And there's going to be the key for me today. I know we've talked about Tampa running the ball and challenging Josh Freeman to throw, but that secondary is still banged up for the Saints.
And this is definitely one of the fastest defenses that we're going to see all year, Darryl. They run to the ball.
On 2nd and 6, it's Williams again up the middle. It'll be 3rd and short for the Bucs. Cedric Ellis made the tackle.
We talk about slow starts, and it's not just the offense, it's also the defense, and that really culminated last Saturday night against the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas is going down and driving for touchdowns, and the Saints are going 3 and out. The defense couldn't stop Dallas's offense, and Drew Brees couldn't get his group on track.
3rd down and 1. And the Bucs use their first timeout.
Timeout, New Orleans. This will be a 30-second timeout.
The minutia of the quarterback position, and for Josh Freeman, a young quarterback, his first opportunity to play here in the Superdome. Tony, this is one of the loudest places you will play in. He's going to be challenged all day with the mechanics of getting that play called in and getting to the line of scrimmage on time.
That's probably the worst thing that he could go and show this stadium is that the noise has affected him, like we just saw him taking a timeout. Because this stadium will get louder and louder. It's even hard for me to talk over the crowd noise as I try to talk to you, Dave.
Freeman 2-5 in his 7 starts, beat Green Bay at home, and picked up his first road win in Seattle last week. On 3rd and 1, the toss to Cadillac Williams, and the Buccaneers pick up a first down. Williams out to the 48-yard line.
Oh, I like the job by Kellen Winslow. He's a great pass catcher, but I think he needs to walk on his blocking. Watch him right here, 82. He gets out here, gets the corner sealed. Now watch at the end of the road, turns back inside, gets Darren Sharper. That's a nice job. That's being very, very cognizant of what's going on. Get the edge sealed for Cadillac Williams, and then go back inside and get that pursuit coming from the inside out.
Two tight ends set, 1st and 10 from the 48-yard line. Freeman's first pass of the day is caught by Antonio Bryant in Saints territory. And Bryant is close to another Bucs first down, and he did pick up the first. So a gain of 10 for Bryant. 1st and 10 from the New Orleans 42.
A good running game is always a young quarterback's best friend. That play action is going to be very beneficial for Josh Freeman today if they can keep it working.
Cadillac Williams this time bottled up. Will Smith, the first Saint, in on the tackle.
That defensive line is doing a great job identifying the run. Watch that defensive line penetrate. That's how you go when you slow down a running back. When he sees that penetration, he doesn't have the ability to go and make the cutback, and you go and give him not many choices to go and run out. It makes it a lot easier for the linebackers to come in and make a play like we just saw.
Freeman dropping back into the shotgun. 2nd and 10. Off the hands of Bryant.
A little high there on the throw by Josh Freeman. going back to one of the screen passes that was so effective for him last week against Seattle. That little inside keep, and then quick outside to Antonio Bryant. Antonio's got to make that catch. It's a little high, but he needs to make this catch, get some positive results.
Josh Freeman's got to do a better job selling that run play, too. He looked right out to his receivers, and the linebackers were all over him. It is loud down here on the field. Wow.
Freeman on 3rd and 10. He throws. There's a penalty marker as the catch was made by the Bucs leading receiver, the tight end Kellen Winslow, stopped just shy of a first down.
Illegal shift offense. 2 men moving and not resetting prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Replay 3rd down.
Well, you saw that pre-snap formation kind of blow up a little bit and everybody scattered. You've got to make sure that everybody who's moving on that shift has the opportunity to set for 1 second. Somebody on the outside didn't get set for that full second.
So now 3rd and 15. Bucs must get to the 32 for a first down. Three wide receivers set. Freeman moving to his left. He fires, and it's nearly picked off by Darren Sharper. The pass was high, intended for Winslow.
Josh Freeman has to really identify that he only has 3 guys rushing. He needs to take his time to get his ball better down the field to Winslow right there. But when you only have 3 guys rushing the passer, there's not a lot of pressure, so take your time.
Sam Paulescu back at his own 38-yard line. Reggie Bush back deep for the Saints, scored his first NFL touchdown on a punt return against Tampa Bay back in 2006. End over end, taken at the 12 by Bush. And Bush out of bounds at the 26, 14-yard return. Drew Brees will lead the high-powered Saints offense out when we return.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag, it's on.
Back in New Orleans, our first look today at the top-ranked offense in the National Football League.
And again, it's all about this start. Drew Brees was real frustrated how his offense played last week in that Dallas game, and it's become a habit. And just from a confidence standpoint, you would love to have that good start either this week or next week before you get into the playoffs.
On 1st and 10 from the 25, the end around to Robert Meacham. And Meacham takes it out to the 32, gain of 7, brought down by Denard Jackson.
And here is that group that's going to challenge this Tampa Bay defense. Everybody knows about Drew Brees. He's got a lot of weapons on the outside. Jermon Bushrod had a tough week last week against DeMarcus Ware. We'll see if he can bounce back. And really one of the guys that was going to challenge him is the player who's down on the ground right now, Styles G. White.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Bud Light. With the just right taste that's not too heavy, not too light, the difference is drinkability.
Actually, number 97, Jimmy Wilkerson, who was down on that last play, not number 91, Styles G. White. Also, Chris Hoban and Aqib Talib kind of slow getting up, so tough play for the Bucs.
3 Bucs shaken up on the first play from scrimmage for the Saints as Pierre Thomas picks up a first down. Gain of 5.
There's Jimmy Wilkerson right there. He's locked up with number 85, Dave Thomas, trying to maintain his contain, trying to get to the outside. And every once in a while, that knee just kind of wobbles a little bit when it lands funny. You can see him reach down for that left knee. He was able to walk off the field, so hopefully he's all right.
Wilkerson replaced by Kyle Moore. First and 10 from the 38. This is Marcus Colston, who picks up a first down and goes over 1,000 yards for the 3rd time in his 4-year career, a gain of 15.
A nice adjustment after the catch by Marcus Colston. Watch, he feels the pressure from Albert Mack on the outside, spins back out. He's going to jump inside on that. good presence, good feel running that inside slant. Foot in the ground, other direction.
It's when them receivers get the ball in their hands, it's what they do afterwards now that makes them so good.
Mike Bell found a hole, takes it down to the Bucs. 39, a gain of 8.
Well, this group has really kind of struggled during the course of the year with the new system that was put in. They made the change after the first time they played New Orleans. Chris Hovan, probably the happiest guy that change was made. They want to be a penetrating defense, the old style that Monty Kiffin put in. One gap, that's your responsibility. Go fill it, penetrate, change the line of scrimmage. Don't maintain it, reestablish it on the other side.
Second down and 2, Bell. Another Saints first down. Rondé Barber the tackle as we check in on the Packers and the Seahawks with Kurt Menefee. Kurt?
And the Packers are out to the early lead. Aaron Rodgers dumps it off to the running back Brandon Jackson. 13 yards later, it's good for a 7-0 Packer lead. Of course, Green Bay trying to stay in front of the Giants in that quest for the wild card spot for the NFC. Getting it loose and good.
And the Cowboys as well. Packers clinch a playoff spot with a victory and a loss by either the Giants or the Cowboys. First and 10 from the Bucs 33. Breeze over the middle. The pass is caught by Bush. And Reggie Bush has the first down, forced out of bounds by Savvy Piscatelli.
Well, Tony talked about this receiving corps and how dangerous they are after the catch, so you're going to give them a little bit of cushion. And then what happens? All of a sudden you can slip Reggie Bush out. Look at that void right there underneath. And then the speed to be able to get to the edge.
That's why it's real important for this defense to everybody needs to run to the ball. These guys are so dangerous on a little short pass like that. They can go and score on it. They're very capable of doing that.
From the 23-yard line, Bush, nice move, stays in bounds. And takes it down to the 17. He picks up 6.
On that Tampa Bay drive, you heard Tony talk about Josh Freeman and recognizing that it's a 3-man rush. And here's the difference. Watch Drew Brees. He knows it's a 3-man rush. Get the ball out quickly to whoever's open first. Don't allow the defenders to get back and start to fill those zones. If you've got somebody open right away, take them. And when you've got the ability to run after the catch, the way this offense does, a 5-yard gain on a flat route could turn into a 25-yard gain down the field.
The Saints have not scored a first-quarter touchdown in their last 4 games. On 2nd and 4, here's Thomas. Thomas inside the 10, down to the 8, has another New Orleans first down. And the Saints now have not scored a touchdown on their opening drive since week 8 against Atlanta.
It has been a struggle. They have gotten off to slow starts, but they've been able to get those victories because of the opponents. And it's a fine line you walk. You love to have that confidence as an offense that the game is never out of touch because you're so explosive. But this is a great opening drive for New Orleans to establish confidence in the fact that, hey, we've gotten off to slow starts. And the other positive, they're running the football very effectively.
First and goal from the 8-yard line. Thomas, touchdown.
That's a team right there that's committed to getting something fixed before you get into your playoff push. Everybody has talked about it with these Saints for the last 4 or 5 weeks about their starts, offensively and defensively. Defense forces a punt, and their offense comes out and goes right down the field with a nice mix of run and pass.
For Pierre Thomas, his first rushing touchdown the last 7 games. Garrett Hartley, the extra point. The Saints score a first-quarter touchdown for the first time in 5 games. They lead the Bucs 7-0.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by State Farm. To us, nothing's more important than being there. By Taco Bell, think outside the bun. And by Toyota, moving forward.
The Saints start strong as they look to clinch home field throughout. 9 plays, 75 yards, no third downs on the drive.
Well, I don't think we have to question how the Saints finished. They took a 24-3 lead in the 3rd quarter last week against the Dallas Cowboys and made that into a game. They have great potential late in the game to jump back into any game. You know, no lead is safe with this offense. Their issue was how they were starting.
Kickoff taken at the 4 by Spurlock. Spurlock out across the 25. Josh Freeman of the Bucs offense. Another chance, down by 7.
Chris Hovan, a little equipment repair, had a big split in the jersey, had to get into the backup.
And that just happened because he was so big. That didn't happen because the offensive lineman grabbed him, right, Darryl?
No,
That never happens.
No, you want to wear it as tight as you possibly can so those offensive linemen, if their hand inadvertently lands on it, that they can't grab anything.
They're like the Hulk.
Bucs start from their own 26-yard line. As Freeman throws, the catch is made by Ernest Graham. And Graham able to stay on his feet, takes it out to the 40, pickup of 14.
Well, Ernest Graham was running downhill after that catch, huh?
Yeah, he took 2 of them on.
Wow. This is a great job. Nice job by Freeman, too, taking his time and dumping the ball off.
Yeah, quick decision. You know, let Ernest Graham run. Roman Harper, Fajita, boom, right off of him.
Cadillac Williams in the backfield, 1st and 10 for Tampa Bay from the 40-yard line, trailing 7-0. Williams cuts it back inside and gains 5 out to the 45, brought down by Charles Grant.
Well, the offense got off to a great start, but defensively right now, the Saints, the miscues by Tampa Bay on the opening drive contributed to that drive stalling as much as the play of the Saints. Right now, I'm sure the defensive coordinator, Greg Williams, not too happy. I'm sure he'd like to see this group be a little bit more stout against the run.
Saints without a couple of starters on defense. Scott Shanley and Jabari Greer, 2nd and 5. Cadillac has another first down. And he is finally tackled at the Saints 45-yard line by Cedric Ellis and Darren Sharper after a gain of 11.
Well, we had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers the first 3 games of the season, and it was so good to see Carnell Williams back in the lineup for this team after coming back from those 2 knee injuries, really career-threatening knee injuries. And it's so good to see him on the field. And at this time of year, late in the season, you know, this has been one of his big struggles, was to finish the year. So great here now at game 15, having Cadillac still out there running hard.
He split to the right. He's the Buccaneers' leading rusher, close to 700 yards this season. Empty backfield, Freeman out of the shotgun, has time, throws, intercepted. Guess who? Darren Sharper, his 9th of the season. And Sharper moves into a tie with Ronnie Lott, 6th place all time, his 63rd career interception.
There's Josh Freeman getting with Antonio Bryant right away. Miscommunication between quarterback and wide receiver, possibly.
Darren Sharper with the pick, and he sets a new NFL record for single-season return yards. Now 376 return yards, breaking the record, Goose, set by Ed Reed back in 2000, 358 return yards. Sharper, the new single-season record holder.
It's a great record, man. Congratulations.
1st and 10, 49-yard line. Thomas, as the helmet went flying, Sammy Piscatelli lost his helmet as Thomas took it to the 44.
Well, let's go back and take a look. You saw Josh Freeman upset with Antonio Bryant on the outside. There's your drop by the defensive lineman back, but I want you to watch Antonio Bryant stop. He's going to stop right there. He stutters. Now, that ball is off Josh Freeman's hand. You don't have a decision at the top of that route. In this type of offense, you finish the route. You go across the defender's face and you finish the route. You don't have the option to shut it down in that zone.
Exactly what happens when a receiver's lazy. Those defensive backs are right on your tail, and they're going to make the interception like we saw from Darren Sharper.
Mike Bell down to the 41-yard line, 3rd down and 1. So Freeman intercepted by Sharper, and it was, as we mentioned, Ed Reed, 2004 Ravens, who held that record. And Sharper ties his career high with his 9th pick of the season. Lionel Hamilton. And Hamilton picks up a Saints first down.
There's a guy right there that Sean Payton's very high on. Does a great job covering their kicks. One of their best special teams player. But Sean also is a very, very good running back. Tough, physical. And when you're talking about getting into a situation where you're going to burn the clock and you want to try and really kind of just punish the defense with your running game, it's going to be Mike Bell and Lionel Hamilton who get those opportunities for this Saints offense.
First and 10 from the 40. As the pass is caught, taken down to the 38-yard line by the tight end, David Thomas. Gain of 2.
Bunch formation to the left. It's all about the release in that situation. Sabby Piscatelli does a good job fighting his way through all that traffic to tackle Dave Thomas on a short gain.
Saints without Jeremy Shockey today for the second consecutive game, suffering from turf toe. Thomas, career high 8 receptions last week against Dallas. Play action on 2nd and 8, and the pass is caught by the fullback Kyle Eckel, who was re-signed by the Saints this week. And Eckel picks up 8. Another Saints first down.
When you want to throw the ball quick, you've got to get defenders' hands down. Watch the block on the edge. Pierre Thomas gets the hands down, allows that ball to come out quickly to the fullback out in the flat. If you're going to throw it fast, you've got to be able to get the hands down of the defenders. Kyle Moore's coming in off the edge. Pierre Thomas chops those legs out, forces those hands down.
From the Bucs 30, off the fake to Bell. Breeze fires, Beachum, touchdown.
Beachum was wide open.
You know that
Wow.
when you play the Saints, you know that this play is coming. We actually talked to Rondé Barber about it. He said, hey, we got to watch out for the race route. We said, what's the race route? It's that medium drag with the post in behind it. So Rondé, he knows about it. They've practiced against it all week, but you can never simulate it like the Saints are going to run it on game day. And it probably comes out of a different formation or a different personnel group than you saw during the course of the film study.
Hardly the extra point. Saints capitalize on the sharper pick. 14-0 New Orleans.
Well, we saw Rondé Barber close to that play, but it's actually Tenar Jackson who Tony and I think makes a mistake. Here he is right here, hiding behind your goalpost. Dave Thomas is going to come out from the tight end spot. He's covered by Barrett Root. Tenar Jackson doesn't need to jump that route. Everything's covered right here. It's 3-on-1, but you leave the middle of the field open. I guarantee you Rondé Barber thought he had some help inside with Tenar Jackson being the safety.
Okay, that's an easy throw for Drew Brees when the middle of the field is wide open like that. Nobody in his face, no safety to have to worry about. All he has to do is lead his receiver, just what you saw right there.
Spurlock from the goal line. Spurlock down at the 21. Courtney Roby, the tackle on special teams. Next week, week 17. Final weekend of the regular season. And a Fox doubleheader. Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, Vikings, and the rest of the lineup in game 1. And then game 2 of our doubleheader. Packers and Cardinals, Redskins visit the Chargers. It all gets underway with the Built Ford Tough Fox NFL Sunday pregame show at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. By the way, that touchdown pass by Brees, his 34th of the season, ties his own franchise record set last season. Derek Ward's first carry as we check in once again with Kurt.
Well, a win by the New England Patriots over Jacksonville, and they clinched the AFC East again. Tom Brady to Randy Moss, only 2 yards on the score, but it's good enough for a touchdown lead, 7-0 in the first quarter. Kenny Moose and Goose.
Thanks, Kurt. Patriots clinch the division with a win or a Miami loss to Houston, and the Texans lead that game 10-0. Second down and 7. Under a minute to go. First quarter, Derek Ward out to the 28-yard line. Scott Fujita made the tackle. Gain of just one for Ward, who came over in the offseason from the New York Giants. By the way, on that last drive, the scoring drive for the Saints, 6 plays, 6 different Saints touched the ball.
That's the challenge when you play the Saints. A lot of weapons, and they can all generate big plays. Sean Payton has done a great job incorporating everybody into that offense.
3rd down and 4. Bucs must get to the 32 for a first down. And they do, as the catch is made by Stovall. Maurice Stovall into Saints territory. Finally chased down by Jonathan Vilma after picking up 29 yards. So the first quarter comes to an end. Saints lead 14-0. Drew Brees chatting with Marcus Colston and Robert Meacham. Meacham scored the second Saints touchdown. New Orleans with touchdowns on their first 2 drives. They lead the Buccaneers 14-0. First and 10, Tampa Bay from the 43-yard line. First play of the second quarter as Freeman's pass was a bit behind the intended receiver Winslow.
He had Kellen Winslow, and he had room to run if he can get this out in front of him. Get a one-on-one situation. He's a very good pass receiving tight end. Nice subtle move to generate that separation from Malcolm Jenkins, but do you see right there, the ball is on the back shoulder. I like the play calling by Greg Olsen on this drive, though. He came out, ran the ball the first 2 times. Nice little short pass that turned into a long gain on a missed tackle by Mike McKenzie. It's 14-0, but don't panic. Don't get away from your game plan.
2nd and 10, Derek Ward. Ward has a first down and more down to the Saints 27-yard line. Ward picks up 16.
Big Davin Joseph out front leading the way. He's going to pull from the guard spot. Good job with the feel to the outside. Gets the seal on Scott Fujita. A lot of open room out there for Derek Ward. This is a nice response by this Tampa Bay offense.
From the 27, movement prior to the snap.
False start. Offense, number 7. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
The left tackle, Donald Penn.
That's what happened to them on their first drive, too. They had a nice little drive going, and all of a sudden they get a couple of penalties once they get down right about this same area of the field going the other direction to start the game. Pre-snap penalties are unacceptable. Tony's talked about how loud it is inside this facility, but that's an excuse.
First and 15 following the penalty from the New Orleans 32. Ernest Graham, the lone back. Off the fake to Graham. Freeman under pressure, throws it away. Penalty marker down at the 27-yard line.
Yeah, something was not right.
Eligible player downfield. Offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty. Replay first down.
Josh Freeman was the only guy doing a pass. Watch here, watch this effort. These are not pass routes. You're trying to run people off, then get down, block. Here we go up the top of the screen with Derek Ward. Those aren't pass routes.
Yeah, it almost looked like there was a screen off to the left and somebody forgot to go out for the pass.
Left guard Jeremy Zuttah, the guilty Buck. 2nd consecutive penalty. Forcing Tampa Bay back to the 37-yard line. First down and 20. Freeman inside handoff to Ward. And Ward gains 3 to the 34. Cedric Ellis in on the tackle.
Very similar to that opening drive. You get down to just on the verge of getting into the red zone, and all of a sudden 2 self-inflicted miscues, the penalty on the first play, and then a mix-up with the play call in the huddle on the second one leads to another penalty with an illegal lineman downfield. So Tampa Bay right now playing well up until they get to about the 25-30 yard line. Then they just start to have breakdowns.
Greg Williams loves being in this situation, 2nd and 17. He can do so much with that defensive package in this situation.
From the 34. Freeman can't find anyone. He's being chased by Grant. Loses the football, then he falls on it. Lost it again. Charles Grant, a senior member of the Saints, with the sack. He now has 5.5 on the season.
When you can get pressure with 4 men up on the line of scrimmage, that's exactly what the Saints do. You're going to have a long day because you gain that extra defender on the backside. Josh Freeman looking downfield, sees nobody. Charles Grant comes in for the strip. Great play, great hustle by Charles Grant.
But Donald Penn is into it with somebody. I think he and Will Smith, they've been jawing since that play ended. We'll watch number 91 go up against number 70 on this snap.
Play clock at 2. And Freeman uses the Bucs' second timeout.
Second charge timeout, Tampa Bay.
The extracurricular activity continues. Donald Penn and Will Smith.
Today's game is sponsored by Autotrader.com. You'll find the car you want at the price you want at Autotrader.com. By Coors Light. When the mountains turn blue, your beer's as cold as the Rockies and ready for kickoff. And by Chevy and their award-winning cars, trucks, and crossovers.
The New Orleans Saints clinched the top seed in the NFC. With a victory today, they lead the Buccaneers 14-0.
And that was right before we went to break. Now, this all started at the end of that sack fumble on Josh Freeman. We'll get back and show you that after this play. Divisional games, Goose.
Face them twice a year. You can't go back down from the guys.
3rd down and 20. Freeman in trouble. Down he goes again. Back at the 40-yard line. Jonathan Casillas. Freeman sacked for the 2nd time.
As Tony's talked about getting pressure with 4, this time Greg Williams dials it up a little bit more. Brings Jonathan Casillas and Scott Fujita on the blitz.
Polescu punting for the 2nd time. Comes down inside the 10. So the Saints will start from deep in their own territory. They've scored touchdowns on their first 2 drives. Back in New Orleans, Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa. New Orleans Saints, a chance to clinch top seed in the NFC. Off to a terrific start today. Saints start from their own 7-yard line following the punt. Freeze, the quick slant to Devery Henderson. His first catch today and a gain of 6 out to the 13-yard line. Well, we talked about some of the slow starts as of late by the Saints offense, but that not the case today.
Not at all. And Drew Brees challenged his entire team before the game in that huddle. Start quick, finish strong. They have done that. Now, defensively, I think right now, Greg Williams is not going to be all that happy because Tampa Bay has moved the ball on 2 of their 3 drives. They have generated a turnover with an interception by Darren Sharper, but it's really Tampa Bay miscues once they get down to that 25-yard line that have stalled these drives. So I'm sure that they would like to see that defense be a little bit more sound this afternoon.
2nd down and 4. Brees complete to Colston. And Marcus Colston picks up a 1st down close to the 20.
Drew Brees does a great job of getting the ball out, getting to where he's got to be, and finding his receiver. That pass to Colston right there, I mean, that was a tremendous job. There was no delay. What a time, great timing route. Gave Colston an opportunity to go and get some yardage and break a tackle for a big gain.
You see that the graphic that was up 8 for 8. Drew is he's about getting into a rhythm, and then this whole offense kind of feeds off of that. He's perfect right now.
On 1st down, this is Bell. Looks to cut the other way, and then he's tackled for a loss by the leading tackler For the Buccaneers this season, Barrett Ruud.
And that's not Mike Bell. Mike Bell is downhill. Downhill, push the pile, be physical. That's Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush comes out the back door and turns something into nothing, or nothing into something.
We know what you meant there.
But right here, Mike Bell turns something into nothing.
Yeah, you talk about those running backs. What a stable, huh? Reggie Bush, Pierre Thomas, Mike Bell, Hamilton. You're throwing the fullback too a little bit. I don't want to give him too much credit right now.
Now Reggie Bush turning something into something as he picks up the Saints first down after their first negative play today. Bush on 2nd and 12 gains 13.
And staying downhill, and one of the things that Reggie Bush has really worked on this season is not trying to reverse field and looking to hit the home run all the time. He really presses the hole real well right there. Devery Henderson with a nice block on the outside. But you see right there, the patience, stretch it, push the point of attack, and then try and stay north and south.
The Saints have run 19 plays today. They've gone to 3rd down just once. First and 10 from the 31 off the play fake to Bush. This is Henderson. Devery Henderson out across the 40, and Drew Brees, who completed 15 consecutive passes in a game earlier this season against the Giants, is now 9 for 9.
You see Drew Brees right at the snap there, calling out Barrett Ruud, number 51, identifying him as the Mike linebacker. And what that does, it sets everything across the board for the offense. Now he knows where he's protected. He knows where he's hot because he set the protection off of 51. The line is going to be responsible for him and to that side. So if he gets the overload blitz from the backside away from 51, he knows he has to be hot.
On 2nd and 1, Thomas into Buccaneers territory. There's a penalty marker back at the 42-yard line. Now another flag, so 2 flags after Pierre Thomas gains 27.
Tell you what, that Pierre Thomas run was unbelievable. Took a couple defenders with him, probably 10 yards down the field.
A lot different emotionally this week than last week, huh, Goose?
Thomas shaking up on the play, guys.
Holding, defense, that penalty is declined. Personal foul, tackling by the face mask. Defense, number 20. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Rondé Barber.
Well, you got the hold inside, which means one of the offensive linemen was trying to climb. We talked about Drew Brees on the previous play. You've got to point him out on the run plays, too. You don't want to give that defense a tip that you're only calling out the Mike on pass plays. So now here comes Pierre Thomas into the secondary. Looks like the face mask is going to, there it is right at the end with Rondé. But that defensive holding inside, trying to prevent the Saints offensive line from getting up to the linebacker level, that second level, to be able to get a block to get the big run.
Looks like Pierre Thomas got injured a little bit. Might have landed on the ball, injured those ribs. Looks like they were checking his ribs on the sideline.
Well, the Saints are in the red zone, Goose, from the 19-yard line. As that pass is nearly picked off by Barrett Ruud. Brees looking for Bush, and that's his first incompletion.
Yeah, Drew Brees does not want to go and loft the ball up like that. If Barrett Ruud had his eyes open, he would have had an interception. If you're going to go and throw that, just throw the ball. Can't loft it up. If Ruud goes and looks at that and plays the ball instead of the offender, he's going to go and get a pick.
And I think you're right, Tony. It looked like he was playing for the tackle on Reggie Bush instead of going for the interception opportunity.
You ever close your eyes on the field, Goose?
On impact, Kenny, sometimes, but no, not very often. Although I never had a pick either.
Thomas back in. I know you closed your eyes last night when you tasted that horseradish.
Oh, that was some good horseradish, wasn't it? Good stuff, good stuff. You know, Kenny, the face that you made eating that horseradish is just blueprinted in my brain. I'll never believe that. That was just, and the handshake, I mean, now you know what it's like to play in the NFL, man. That's the kind of hits, you know, when you get a hit and you start shaking like that. That's exactly what it's like.
So eating horseradish is like playing in the NFL?
Yeah.
3rd and 5, Brees complete. But Colston is tackled shy of the first down. Baron Rude in on the tackle. Fans want the Saints to go for it.
Marcus Colston has to know the situation right there. Know where that yard marker is. Looks like he tried to lose a little bit of ground to get around the corner. Just get it north and south as fast as you can. You know you caught it a little bit short.
Well, it's easy to go shortless inside, right? In a dome.
Yeah, there's no big deal about that.
It's getting that paint off after the game. That's the tough one.
That's another story.
Wow.
So the Saints facing a 4th down and 1. They will use a timeout as Breeze will head over for a chat with Sean Payton.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by the GMC Sierra, the official vehicle of the NFL.
Saints send out the field goal unit.
No points.
This will be a 28-yard attempt. Garrett Hartley has never missed from inside 50. His only miss came from 58 yards out. From the left hash, Hartley's kick is straight through. So the Saints have scored on all 3 of their possessions. They now lead 17-0. Saints drive 83 yards. The key play, the 26-yard run, and then the face mask. So add 15 more. 41-yard play. And the Saints, with 17 points today, have reached 500 for the season. 12th team in NFL history to score 500 points. And they're not done.
No, by a long shot. 6:39 left to go in the first half.
And a game against Carolina next week. Spurlock. Tackled at the 21 by Lionel Hamilton, and Sean Payton told us about Hamilton's prowess on special teams. Well, on Friday, Fox once again brings you the greatest week in college football, beginning on New Year's Day with the Allstate Sugar Bowl, the AT&T Cotton Bowl, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, and finally the FedEx Orange Bowl. It begins Friday on Fox in high definition. The Allstate Sugar Bowl, Florida and Cincinnati.
Interesting game now. The Coachless Bowl.
Yes, following the announcement by Urban Meyer yesterday as Derek Ward carries out to the 27 on first down. Meyer announcing that he will step down as Florida head coach, and he will actually hold a press conference in New Orleans later this afternoon. The Gators arrived in town last night.
Well, he's got his priorities in line, and when you talk about your long-term health in the game of football, your long-term health wins out. So it had to be a very, very difficult, a very, very emotional decision by Urban Meyer, but the best thing for him and his family moving forward.
Got to take care of number 1, absolutely. Health is most important.
2nd down and 5. Freeman's pass is caught, and stretching across for a first down is Antonio Bryant. And of course, Brian Kelly, the former head coach at Cincinnati, now the head coach at Notre Dame, so he will not coach the Bearcats here on Friday night.
That's a shame, too.
Yeah, I feel bad for the Cincinnati players. I really do. They had a great year. And, you know, you talk to Drew Brees and this team about their opportunity to go undefeated and how disappointed they were. The Cincinnati Bearcats an opportunity to have an undefeated season, and you got to feel like your coach let you down by leaving.
False start, offense, number 65, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That's the right tackle, Jeremy Trueblood. He leads the league in offside/false start penalties. That is his 10th this season.
Now, I can understand a coach leaving for a different job, but at least finish the job that you started and don't let down the kids that you made promises to. That's the one thing that I don't agree with the move of going to Notre Dame.
It would have been the first request I had before I left for Notre Dame. The only way I'm coming is if you let me finish my work at Cincinnati.
Absolutely.
1st and 15 from the 28. Freeman over the top to Graham. And Graham gains 12 yards out to the 40. Jonathan Casillas made the tackle.
I need to give a quick shout out to the University of Pittsburgh yesterday when the 10th win over North Carolina. Big bowl win for the University of Pittsburgh. Got to see Ricky Jackson, whose number is up in the stadium today. Big player for New Orleans Saints. Another Pittsburgh alumni.
Second and 3, not much for Derek Ward. Goose, of course, a former Pitt Panther.
Looks like Tampa's staying with the run game today, Darryl, huh?
I think you need to, Goose. I mean, I know we're 17-0. We're just inside 4 minutes here in the first half, but still plenty of time. Don't panic. There's Cadillac Williams. They're doing the rotation. Ernest Graham. It's going to help Josh Freeman in the end. You don't want to become one-dimensional because of the situation of this game with a loud noise here inside and give that advantage to that defensive line of the Saints.
Freeman with time on 3rd and 3. Sidearm throw. The catch is made for a first down by Winslow. He gains 12 as he takes it into Saints territory.
Not a large margin of error on this throw by Josh Freeman. I mean, watch Scott Fujita. I mean, he's right there in the hip pocket. That's about the only place he could have placed it. And we've seen him be off on a couple of throws this afternoon, so a lot of confidence.
He wasn't off on that one.
No.
Nice throw.
Greg Olson's doing a good job. He's not panicking. Stay with the initial game plan you started the game with. There'll come a point in the second half if you don't get it turned around that all of a sudden you have to shift.
On the Saints 48, it's Ward, and Derek Ward gains 2. Down to the 46-yard line, Roman Harper made the tackle. Timeout called by the Saints. Their second. Saints have scored on their first 3 possessions, 2 touchdowns and a field goal. They have reached 500 points for the season. There's defensive coordinator Greg Williams. Sean Payton gave up $250,000 of his own salary in order to bring Greg Williams to New Orleans.
Well, I think he realizes what Greg brings as a coach to this team. And we all know that New Orleans has had a great offense for a couple of years now, but to get to where they want to be in this hunt for a Super Bowl championship, you've got to become a more balanced team. Greg Williams gives them that defense, and you see the results this year with that 13-1 record. Virtually the same cast of characters that were here last year. It's about a mentality with Greg, too.
Giants might not be in the hunt for long. They trailed Carolina 24-0 at home in their last ever game at Giants Stadium. Green Bay leads Seattle 14-0. There's Freeman, play action, fires downfield looking for Winslow. Incomplete.
Now, he can't do that. He just cannot do that one.
He's got to throw that one away.
Yeah, you can't throw the ball in the middle of the field. And that was his interception last week against Seattle on his first attempt. The play broke down, and he just floated one into the middle of the field. You can't do that. He was so lucky for that to hit the ground. Know that you've got pressure in your face. It's a dead play. Get it beyond the line of scrimmage, out of bounds.
Now 3rd down and 8. Bucs must get to the 38 for a first. Freeman in trouble. He escapes. And now is taken down back at the 49-yard line.
How did he ever get out of that?
I have
Two
no
guys
idea.
come straight right through the middle, scot-free. Wow.
Linebackers on the outside, both coming. The tackles and the running back go to one. They turn a guy loose right to Josh Freeman. And now, yeah, the ball came out. Get it secure. They're all coming for you. Tony's talked about this defense and the speed they have and how they're going to run to the ball. That's when the turnovers are going to happen.
So Will Smith winds up with the sack, now has 13.5. He's 3rd in the NFL in sacks. Bush lets it bounce into the end zone for a touchback. So with just over 2 minutes remaining in the second quarter, the Buccaneers rallying the Saints 17-0. As Freeman has his equipment worked on.
One of the toughest jobs in the NFL, covering punts on the outside. Brian Clark for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You almost always get a 2-on-1 situation, and it seems like the officials are always focused somewhere else at that time. I mean,
He didn't stop, though. You got to give him credit. He kept going. Helmet or no helmet. It's a warrior right there.
There's a different set of rules when you're the forcer or the gunner on the outside covering punts. Yeah, hands to the face. He was all the way up underneath. I lost my helmet.
Saints go to work with 2:10 remaining in the second quarter. Breeze looking for Devery Henderson. Saints have scored in their first 3 possessions. They have tied a franchise record with 54 offensive touchdowns this season. Breeze has tied a franchise record with his 34th touchdown pass to Robert Meacham. Breeze now 10 of 12. Pierre Thomas 60 yards on the ground. Thomas scored the Saints' first touchdown. 2nd and 10 with Bush in the backfield. Off the fake to Bush. Breeze going deep. A bit too deep for Henderson. And that will take us to the 2-minute warning here in New Orleans. 17-0 Saints.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by AT&T, a better 3G experience.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
New Orleans Saints clinch the top seed in the NFC with a victory today. They lead the Tampa Bay Buccaneers by the score of 17-0. Drew Brees started the day 9 for 9, just 1 for his last 4. A rare 3rd down and 10 for the Saints. With an empty backfield, Brees complete to Meacham, or looks to be just short.
That's an easy one with the shoe right there. He gets the distance for the first down, but it's that speed cut route where you kind of come out of it, you round it real hard, work back towards your quarterback, and he's unable to get back up the field. Leaves the shoe as evidence of where he went out.
So the Saints will punt for the first time today. Remember last week against Dallas, punted on their first 3 possessions of the game. Thomas Morstead, the rookie out of SMU. There's Michael Spurlock. Back deep for Tampa Bay. Taken at the 30 by Spurlock, and Courtney Roby quickly downfield to make the tackle. Only a 2-yard return by Spurlock. Coming up, the Visa Halftime Report with Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. They will have scores and highlights, and the Fox Sports Ticker will have all the latest stats. That's coming up on the Visa Halftime Report. Buccaneers on offense today. 3 punts and a turnover. 1st and 10 from the 32-yard line with Cadillac Williams in the backfield. Freeman out of the shotgun. Freeman complete to Williams, and he gains 5 out to the 37.
They are able to get pressure without bringing the blitz, and Tony talked about it through the first half. Sometimes with just 3, they're in a 3-down lineman right now. They got pressure onto Josh Freeman on that last play with just a 3.
Saints have 3 sacks this half. Cadillac breaks free and picks up a first down. Out to the 44-yard line, he gains 6.
Well, you could hear his coaches on the sideline telling him to get out of bounds, preserve that timeout.
Yeah, they need a little sense of urgency here. That clock is winding down pretty fast if they want an opportunity to at least get 3 on the board or something.
Only 1 timeout for Tampa Bay. We are under 1 minute remaining, second quarter. 17-0 New Orleans. Freeman near side, pulled in by Winslow, and Kellen gets into Saints territory and also able to get out of bounds. Gain of 11.
Blitz is going to come off the edge. There's Malcolm Jenkins, 27. He's on the blitz. Kellen Winslow right into that area where he came from, wide open in the flat. Looks like Jonathan Vilma was supposed to get there from inside out. He was worrying about a vertical route down the middle. Kellen Winslow just snapped it off to the outside.
Second counts for Winslow today. 47 seconds remaining. Bucs with one timeout. From the Saints 44, over the middle. And this time it's Michael Clayton who picks up a first down. Clayton gains 11.
Well, we had an opportunity to sit down with Josh Freeman. I tell you, for a young quarterback, he's only 21 years old. Not only a rookie, but just 21. And he's got a lot of the composure and the intangibles that you look for.
Another completion as a penalty marker, as Bryant caught it at the 21 and then came back. Clock stops with 18 seconds remaining. An efficient drive by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Just well done by Josh Freeman in this 2-minute situation.
Illegal contact, defense, number 22. That penalty decline. The result of the play is the first down.
Tracy Porter, it's the first Saints penalty today. Bucs have committed 5, and this is the deepest penetration for Greg Olson's offense today.
Yeah, but seems like they got better timing when they run that no huddle. Some teams do that. They come out with no huddle, and all of a sudden they just seem to be able to go down the field a little bit more, put a little bit more stress on that defense of Greg Williams right there. This might be something they might look for in the second half.
Freeman perfect on this drive from the 23-yard line. Freeman to the end zone for Stovall. Mike McKenzie on the coverage.
Nice position by Mike McKenzie. He gets on top of Maurice Stovall. You see right here, he's expecting that go route the whole time. And that situation, if Josh Freeman can recognize how Mike McKenzie is playing him and then do that back shoulder throw, the underthrown deep ball, Mike's not going to be in a position to make that play. So he's got to be able to keep his eyes downfield, recognize how Mike McKenzie's playing it, and adjust his throw.
12 seconds remaining in the half. Freeman had trouble with the snap. Now dumps it off. Williams down at the 15-yard line, and the Bucs will use their final timeout.
Well, we had the Buccaneers in the first game of the season against the Cowboys, and they've got a 7-second play that they will run here, and they almost got it that day against the Cowboys, but at 4, you just can't do it. So that play just took a little bit too long for them to have one more shot into the end zone before the half here, but it was very, very well executed week 1 of the season. Actually talked to Raheem Morris about it the following week, wondering, hey, what's your cutoff point? He said, we call it the 7-second play. We feel we have the ability to get the shot into the end zone if we've got 7 seconds. But that was a nice job by Josh Freeman on that job. A lot of composure from a young quarterback in that situation.
So now a 34-yard attempt. Connor Barth, 11 of 16 this season from the right hash. Valescu is the holder. And prior to the snap, the Saints use their final timeout.
Third charge timeout, New Orleans. 30-second timeout.
I wish they would get that situation figured out. There's, let's take a look at the rules in the offseason. I don't like that, the timeout thing. You want to freeze the kicker, that's fine. But I would just tell all the coaches, listen, if he's in his movement to the ball, I'm not going to blow it dead. If you're trying to hold it till the last second, I'm going to let him go ahead and kick it.
There's a halftime report coming up, and you think back to that Week 2 game on a Sunday night between the Giants and Dallas. In Dallas, first game at the new stadium. Lawrence Tynes actually made the first attempt, but the Cowboys had called timeout, and he made the game winner with no time on the clock, so he actually hit twice. So following the timeout, Barth from 34 yards out. Valescu places it down, and the kick is good as the first half comes to an end. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on the scoreboard. Saints scored on their first 3 drives. New Orleans leading Tampa Bay at the half, 17-3.